So this is a study that I worked on with the ROCCA consortium. The ROCCA consortium is a large registry headed out of Stanford by Lori Muffley. And the goal of the ROCCA consortium is to contain all patients that receive a CAR T therapy for acute lymphoblastic leukemia here in the United States and North America. And we're focusing on patients who are treated with commercial products, not experimental products. And so the ROCCA consortium initially started recording brexu-cel patients several years ago, and we have a large data set of brexu-cel patients. And then recently we have been able to incorporate obe-cel patients. Obe-cel was approved in the last year for the treatment of relapsed ALL. And so finally we have some real world data to kind of compare the two patients. So we looked at patient characteristics, and we actually found that they were quite similar. There weren't huge differences in terms of who the doctors were choosing to give obe-cel versus brexu-cel to. We did the study during the period since obe-cel was approved, but it is important to note that not all centers had access to obe-cel. So we showed that the patient characteristics were relatively similar. In terms of toxicity, we found something that was consistent with the clinical trials, which is that patients who received obe-cel had lower rates of high-grade CRS and ICANS than people who received brexu-cel. This is consistent with the clinical trials, but now we show it in the real world. And then in terms of response rates, we found that both groups, the patients who received brexu-cel and obe-cel, had very high initial response rates, and they were not statistically different. We don't have enough follow-up to compare survival outcomes yet, but we hope to be able to do so in the future.